Hi, guys. It's Dr. Liz Jenkins with drlizcoaching.com, and welcome. Welcome to day 23 Inside Couples Conflict. And today I wanted to revisit yesterday's couples real life example. We were talking talking about a situation that Linda and Steve had around their son Brian, who was emerging into teenagehood, and one of their typical conflict areas started to go wrong, and it exploded. And what they were able to do is, in that moment, start to use some of the success strategies, such as timeouts and redos. And I've had some of the couples folks comment and say, can you tell us what Linda and Steve did right? Because they had a fight, okay? And what were some of their misses? Because we do that a lot. We make some of the comments yesterday were that we work really, really hard. We say this is never going to happen again. And guess what? We find ourselves down the road having the same fight, the same problem that we promised each other that we wouldn't do. I said, yeah, absolutely. So the story starts off with Linda saying yes to a whole series of things that their son wanted to do. He wanted to go to a football game with friends, and then over grab some pizza or some food with friends, and then go do another sleepover at yet another friend. So he was going to be bouncing around. And he came to Linda, and she distracted. Okay, so we're talking about here some of the misses. Distracted, just said yes in that moment. She didn't say, have you talked to your father, or taken a pause and said, let's see what dad has on his plans as well. Just said yes, and Brian went on. Okay. And maybe some of you have had that dynamic. I know that kids are very adept at finding out which parent might be the one that's easier for different things. Or sometimes kids know when to catch us when we're distracted. And so they get the answer that they want. So got it? All kids are that. We were kids. I certainly did that. And so that was a miss for Linda. But it also includes Steve too, because some of the homework that we worked on going forward was for them to identify historical regrettable events. And this is what you guys can do at home, or if you're working with me in Reignite or my Weekend Reconnect program, pay attention, because these are some of the lessons that we're going to be doing, and you probably are doing this. We go back to some of these fire spots, and we say, okay, this situation has the potential to crop up in the future. Let's talk it out. Let's figure out what we want to do. So the goal is to identify places that you've had prior conflicts, and the two of you come up with solutions that you could work with going forward. And so that was a miss for them as a couple. They had not identified their son and his extracurricular activities, even though historically that had been a problem. It was a miss for Linda not to say, hey, let me get back with your father real quick. I'll get him on the phone and just make sure all's cool and he doesn't have other plans for us. Okay. And so going into that story, there was a couple opportunities that this might have blown over and not happened. But now they're in the trenches, and Steve has come home or is on his way home saying, hey, what are we all doing tonight? I got some plans. I'd like to do some things. And Linda just kind of announces, oh, our son's already gone. He's going boom, 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 boom. And so Steve is blindsided. Steve's miss is that he blew up. He got angry. He took the bait. He ran with it, whatever you want to call it. And he exploded. Steve's miss was not recognizing that he was already tired after a long day, that this was sudden and unexpected. So he was also maybe coming with some unstable emotions, as well as maybe feeling a little bit like left out of the decision making. So Steve's miss there was not checking in with himself before he went into the conflict or into the fight, before he said something. Steve could have turned it into a miss right then by one tapping into his energy before he, made the call, and know that he was tired or edgy, or even in that moment, look, I'm really upset right now, so I'm just gonna drive home, but I want to talk about this when I get home because I'm not happy. All right. So he could have said and identified his energy, told her that he wasn't okay with this, but that he was going to give himself and herself time for him to process. Right. And when they got home, together, rather than immediately launching into this topic in an agitated way, because he was already attacking on the phone and she was already defending and attacking back, they probably needed to just come home, arrive, and say, let's calm down before we have this discussion. So that was a couple's miss right there again, because they knew about timeouts, they knew about these kinds of things. The win for Steve was that in this conversation, as it continued to escalate, he said, let's take a timeout. Okay. And they were able to regroup, have a conversation, and end up going on and ending the evening on a nice note by actually having a couple's date themselves. But another miss for them is that they hadn't practiced these strategies. It wasn't up on their refrigerator or on their phone like they've been instructed to do. So they were out of practice. They had not prepped and prepared for these kind of situations. They had fallen out of the habit and got a little sloppy. Okay. So those are the misses. The wins, they still had it. They knew the strategies. They just weren't as quick and it wasn't as automatic. They were reverting back to the old habits. But the win was that they'd already started layering the good stuff from our earlier work together. So they were able to quickly pull it back in and put it into place. Another win for them is it was a ring, ring. Hey, Dr. Liz, we need to kind of a little touch up on this. We need just like our cars, right? We get our cars tuned up. We send them out. They hit a pothole in the road. No biggie, right? We haven't totaled the car, just a pothole. We need to get back in alignment. So I said, hey, let's do a tune-up. And so we did. And they're off and running with better strategies because now they know the value of interrupting poor habits, distancing habits, using these strategies that I teach them because they're proven, they work, and they're easy. And then constantly, consistently using them in their life. And as new strategies, as new situations start to emerge that might be problematic for them based on their history together, they start working on them ahead of time, right? Like right now, they're already planning for a vacation to a family event. And historically, that hasn't always been as rewarding or as exciting. So what are they doing? They're using that regrettable event information and working through those scenarios so they can both enjoy each other and the event and their families. So I hope this was helpful for you guys. Keep sending your questions in. I love, love, love. If you see any extra wins or misses that I didn't mention about Linda and Steve, DM them. DM me. Not them, but me. DM me. Let me know so I can make sure we bring them up because I always want to celebrate the successes. Okay. If you'd like to have more successes in your relationship, please reach out to me. I have wonderful programs called Reignite, and it's as a couple or even as an individual. If you want to get started alone, it's okay. But as a couple, reigniting the passion, reigniting the connection by working with me with the proven strategies that interrupt the bad patterns or the distancing patterns and replace them with strategies and expand your toolkit so you can show up well and the two of you can show up well and connected in your relationship. So take care. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.